Ten Hag story continues.
Yes, the success story certainly from a Manchester United perspective as they take the victory. Let's just take a look at what that means in the Premier League. They are now just 3 points adrift of Manchester City, 5 off Arsenal at the top of the table. Arteta's side, though, do have a game in hand. Ten Hag not happy, though. After that game, here's what he had to say. I was really unhappy with our performance. We have to follow the rules and principles of our way of playing. When we don't, it's a mess. We were really lucky at half-time. We were 1 goal up. It was a great goal, but the rest, it was rubbish.
Wow.
Speaking of rubbish, here's Nader Manu and Jan Agerfjortoff, everyone, to give us their thoughts on what happened in the game.
I mean, he set standards, does he not?
Well,
I mean, what was the game? It was the Arsenal game. He hammered them.
Yes, yeah, but first half they weren't very good, though, to be fair, were they? And that's what he was talking about.
I mean, the first 20 minutes, they got pummeled and should have been behind. I think it's more the start of the game he's talking about. In all fairness to United, though, in the second half, they just dismantled Leicester.
Completely.
They just dismantled them altogether. And I think that's what he's trying to point out to his players. I'm sure he's said it to them in the dressing room. He's certainly done it in public. Is like, we won't get away with that kind of start against better teams. But we were allowed to today. David De Gea kept them in it. Some poor finishing, some wasteful chances. But second half, I must say again, second half they played some wonderful stuff.
They really, it's rolling back the years really for United, Nadem. These teams turning up to Old Trafford and just getting rolled over, particularly as Craig mentioned in the second half, proving they're the real deal.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. I think the talk before the game was the last time they lost at Old Trafford was that first game of the season, I believe, to Brighton. And it feels like such a long, long time ago because we thought maybe they've not been doing that well since then, but clearly they have. That place has turned into somewhat of a fortress. But I think I like what the manager said, Ten Hag, in saying that the performance in the first half wasn't brilliant because he's saying it like it is. He's obviously very happy with the second half, but he doesn't want to have to make those adjustments in the second half like he had to in today's game. But in fairness to him, he seems to be coaching very well. The changes he's making seem to be working really well. And it does have that sort of feeling like United are back. And it's very interesting in terms of them in a title race because I think for City and Arsenal, they know they have to play each other. But for United, it's almost like they're watching and just waiting, continuing to win games. Rashford scoring goals. They're turning Old Trafford into a fortress again. And who's to say that they can't be in the mix come the end of the season?
Jan, do you say that?
Yeah, I have said that for a long time.
What's your German expression?
God.
Der lachende Dritte, the laughing third. And Nadem said it exactly like it is because the top two teams are playing each other and they will be concentrating at each other. We do, everybody else. But Manchester United, they got now a combination of that winning culture that somehow Ten Hag has found, taken with him from Ajax or whatever, and found it somewhere at Old Trafford. Seems that it's been lost for a while, but still you can see how they want to play. And when you have match-winning displays that you had today, as Craig was mentioning, De Gea's 2 first saves, and especially the one we showed, the second one, that was fantastic. And then Rashford, as you were saying, why should he play that ball square? Because he know he will score a goal. He is now at the best position any striker could be. You feel every time you go on a football pitch, you will score goals. That feeling is the best feeling ever. And Rashford will keep on doing that till the end of the season. And maybe Manchester City, maybe Arsenal will find themselves to congratulate Manchester United in winning the English Premier League.
He's one of the best. This might sound strange. When he's playing the manner in which he is, not when he was the guy that had lost confidence, which he did 12 months ago, give or take. He's one of the best at hitting the target. Now, people will say, well, that's what they're supposed to do. You go and look at a lot of wide players, front players, attacking midfielders. They get into those positions. It's high, wide and handsome. It's scuffed. Technically, the reason he scores as many is, one, he gets his pace and his clever runs get him in there. But two, when he's in this mindset, his technical ability in terms of striking the ball is one of the best. You saw that there in terms of that finish. It was low, hard and past the keeper before he even got the leg out. Right? And he does that a lot. He does that. There was one, I think it was in midweek or last weekend, that he scuffed high and wide when he got through, but those are rare. Those are rare for him. When he gets down those channels and he gets it on his right side, he generally hits the target. He generally makes the goalkeeper have to do something, have to make a good save. have to get the right position. And all those things, when you put them together, his runs, the ball's in behind from some of those United players, particularly Fernandes. But it also helps when you have a centre-half who makes 2 mistakes in the one play. And Vass, he plays a sloppy ball out, and then he steps into Weghorst. Why would you step into Weghorst when you know Rashford sees it and he's straight in behind? And Fernandes sees it as well. So when you make mistakes against this team and they're playing as well as they are, and Marcus Rashford that is, they're going to punish you.
Yeah, and do you know what my producer just whispered in my ear? He's better than Haaland. I'm not going down. We're not going down that route. We're not going to explore that possibility.
It's almost kicked him as opposed to stamped on him. I think if there was more force that continued to be applied after just the initial contact, then I would lean towards a red. But I think the fact he hasn't sent him off, I'm overall comfortable with that. But I do think it's a yellow.
It's more of a flick than a stamp, but I can see what you mean, Jan, absolutely. And he put himself in a position with that kind of challenge. It is dangerous, but I think because it was more of a flick and he wasn't coming in at any particular speed. Now, listen, Jan has a different opinion. Nedum thinks one thing. You go and ask somebody else, they'll think another. It is one of those. It just is not the worst challenge that I've seen. It was clumsy at best, but I think it was just on the right side of not getting the red card.
Of course, every time Manchester United win, Jan, you bring up an argument that you had with Craig, yes? So just give us a brief synopsis about what that was about.
Well, Craig is my favourite discussion partner, I have to say that, because I like his edge. Oh. But I said that I guess it started when they came back from the World Cup. There was a small game in the cup against Burley. There was a game where we expect Burley to do well with Company getting into play, and I think that was the time, at least for me, that I saw the shape that Ten Hag is trying to get there. You saw that the players understood what he was doing, and then at the same time you get individual players turning their game on, like Rashford, like De Gea. And I must also say now, in the last couple of weeks, Sancho looks like a new signing for them. And that's why I'm seeing that you see weaknesses of the top 2 team. They're still there to lose the title, but Manchester United could be in that position of winning the league, and I'm 100% sure of that. And I'm guess also that Manchester United, I guess if we ask Ten Hag, he would say that's rubbish, because he would say maybe we need 1 or 2 players, and he's right. But this season they could end up being the surprise champion. So
the brief synopsis, which we didn't really get there from Jan, was the fact that you believed in United and Craig didn't.
No.
Was that it?
Well,
absolutely.
I think well, sort of. And then I reminded Jan that you had them 5th.
Well, yes, this is interesting, Jan, because even though you believe in Manchester United, Craig believed in them more because you had them finishing 5th.
Absolutely, and that is nothing to do with trying to be wiser now. This is somehow Ten Hag has developed this team. Did I think that he will turn this around as quick as he did? That's why I tried to say that the first game after the World Cup was the moment I realized that they have the shape, they have the organization. Ten Hag has got to his players and they understand what he wants to do. And the rest is winning culture. The rest is match-winning displays for so many players. But Craig, congratulations. You said it before the season. It's just like 6-7 months ago. That's fine as well. I changed my mind.
Actually, I probably did. Actually, to be fair, I probably didn't. But no, I've enjoyed watching. I mean, the more teams that are vying for any league, the better.
Of course.
We've discussed on this show the worrying thought of, from a neutral point of view, from a league, from a competitive edge, Manchester City's potential domination, right? Now, Arsenal or United may or may not disrupt that this year, but I really don't know anybody who doesn't want to see the strongest teams that have got the capabilities of vying for a Premier League would want them to be strong. So the important thing was they made the right decision with the manager in the summer.
Yep.
It was a hugely difficult start. I mean, hugely. But it's been crystal clear as the season's gone on that this guy's reputation and CV and no-nonsense sort of running of the dressing room and the club has been there for all to see. The only thing I had after the Christmas period was they did play 3 of the teams that you would consider more cannon fodder at the time. It was Nottingham Forest at the time, Bournemouth and one other. And they came through that, obviously, but then they had some bigger tests. But it's not a surprise that they're doing a lot better. I think it is a surprise that they're as close to being in the title race as they are. It is a surprise that Marcus Rashford is playing as well as he is, because these are things that, at the start of the season, if you had said Rashford was going to be in this goal-scoring run, it's been a phenomenon, an absolute phenomenon, and United would be pretty much still hanging in the title race come the end of February, there wouldn't have been too many takers.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.